My wife's had a hankering for some squirrel and dumplings, so today we're going out to my grandma's house to try and get a few squirrels to fill the freezer. For this first trip, I'm going to be taking my little brother Silas. He's using a pellet gun. I'm using my 12-gauge shotgun, and we're going to see if we can get a few of them. We had agreed that if they were standing still, Silas would shoot them, and if they started running, I'd shoot them with a shotgun. And that's when he spotted this sucker.
It's right there in the tree. It's in this big dead tree. You had a perfect shot for it.
All we saw was the one squirrel, but in a moment we'd see a second one and I'd have to take my shot.
He's over here. He just jumped back onto this dead tree. He's right there. He's right there. Pay attention. In the trees. He's moving. He's moving. I'm only gonna shoot if you miss it. Ooh, there's a second tree right. Second squirrel.
The second squirrel was on the move way too fast for Silas to shoot, so I went ahead and got it.
He's right here in front of me. Oh, he's a small one.
The squirrels always look bigger when they're running in the trees. This one was a small one.
One squirrel down. There was another one. That was a different one.
But don't worry, we'll be getting some big ones later on.
Oh. That's one down right there. Shh, keep an eye out, Silas. There was two of them.
My shotgun shell wouldn't eject for whatever reason, so Silas was kind of on his own for a minute. Unfortunately, that squirrel wouldn't run out for a while. It did eventually run out, but I had made a fatal error. You see, when I started the video back up, I guess my finger hit the flip camera option, because this is what I got for the next two squirrels I shot. Now don't worry, I got some better footage after this, but it was very aggravating to look back and realize I didn't get any of the best footage. But I did decide to do a recreation for you guys.
Got him. That one's bigger.
Much bigger than the last ones. Now, believe it or not, the squirrel in this video you're about to see was edited in after the fact. So this isn't actually the squirrel, but I decided to recreate the shot for you guys so you'd kind of see what it would have looked like if my camera was facing the right direction. Now you might have to rewatch it to find out where the editing is in that video, but these are the squirrels we got. Which was really cool for Silas because he'd never shot a squirrel before. I also taught him how to skin a squirrel, so this is the first time he's ever skinned a tree rat. But once we cleaned up all the squirrels, I went home for the evening, put the squirrels in the freezer, and decided to come back another day. My second trip, we saw this big old rabbit sitting at the edge of the woods, and I tried to creep closer, but this guy was too fast for me, and by the time I'd caught up to him, he had taken off either to the left or the right. I wasn't sure. I couldn't hear any movement, so we went ahead and went back for some more squirrels. And that's when we had some trouble with the neighbors. Now this tree line separates my grandma's property from her neighbor's property, so if I step on the grass past these trees, I would be trespassing. But let's get this squirrel first and see how things unfold. Now I'd shot a few times the other day, so I didn't think it'd be any kind of problem, but as my ears stopped ringing, I started to hear a voice yelling at me.
Huh?
Now, before I get into the interaction itself, let me clarify a few things. I shot the squirrel up in the tree there. This is a good bit away from the house, which is off to the right, off camera, about there. I'll show you an aerial view of where the house is in just a second, but first let's get into the interaction.
Huh? Squirrel hunting. Yeah? I'm shooting in a safe direction. No. I didn't walk through the grass. I have it on camera. I'll go over this way. I'm sorry.
At this point, the lady started to calm down, but the man just kept on yelling at me. He screamed too many slurs and cuss words for me to censor, and then he decided to threaten my life. Which, pro tip for you youngins, don't do that to someone who has a gun.
Neighbor's not happy. but that's a good one right there.
I got an aerial view to show you guys what the angle was. So I was sitting here and the squirrel was up here. It's also important to know I'm shooting a very light 6-shot bird shot. The neighbors were way far off, and when they came out screaming, they were in the backyard over here. I made sure to never shoot anywhere where there were people or anything that might get hurt. I also shot in a very high upward direction to make sure no one had to worry about being hit by stray pellets. But there were more squirrels to shoot, so I didn't let one little death threat stop me from hunting. That's when I spotted this sucker up in the tree. Even though it's a little tough to see on camera, this guy was super clear to see in person, and it was a very open shot, so I took it. If I ever have to shoot upwards, I like to use number 6 steel shot because it's strong enough to drop a squirrel, but also won't hurt anyone when it comes falling back down. Always take in consideration what's past your target before you pull the trigger.
Alright. Got us a good one. Alright, got some good size ones this time. Not them itty bitty ones we got last time. Pretty good size. Good food.
With a grand total of 5 squirrels, we finally had enough to get a good serving of some squirrel dumplings. So let's get home and cook them. Alright, so we got our tree rats here. We've got 5 of them. Also known as squirrels. We're going to get some seasonings in the slow cooker. We're going to cook them overnight. That way the meat's real tender for the squirrel and dumplings. So I'm going to take a big cup of water, pour that in the bottom. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce, give it a little bit of good flavor. I used about this much Worcestershire sauce. I kind of do all this by ear, so you can do this however you want. Got some Tony seasoning. This is our Cajun seasoning. Come get a look at this. I like to do it until the whole surface is covered in a light layer. Something like that. All right, this is our Tex Joy steak seasoning. I put this on every single animal that I kill. This is the best seasoning ever. It's great with Tony's, great on meats. I'm just gonna put a little bit. Gonna put maybe that much. All right, now we're gonna take our tree rats. Now I've checked them for BBs already. I've made sure they don't have any. We will do a double check once we're pulling the meat apart, but there shouldn't be any pellets in these squirrels. So I'm gonna lay these guys down. This one's still got the tail attached to it. And these are the 2 small ones. Come look at the size difference here. So look at the size difference. These are the 2 smaller ones we got, and these are the big ones. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another cup of this water, and I just want them to kind of be sitting in the water. You can have some of it exposed, but you don't want all of it exposed. All right, I'm going to put this last little glass of water here. I'm gonna sit this, cook it low and slow overnight for anywhere between 10 to 12 hours. I want that meat super tender, falling right off the bone so we can put it right in the dumplings. And after about 12 hours of cooking, this is what it looked like. And my goodness, was this tender. Jeez. That's how you want it. All right, after slow cooking overnight, this is some of the most tender meat. I mean, this is just falling right off the bone. So I'm gonna separate the meat from the bones and then get that separated. All right, separated the bones from the meat. Got quite a bit of it, actually. And now it's time to make the dumplings. All right, Nebs. You want to taste? How do you taste? Pretty good, I guess. Ouch. I gotta hide these bones before she chokes. As I was taking care of the meat, Grace went ahead and took care of the dumplings. She made them all from scratch from butter, flour, and milk. According to Grace, this was a super easy recipe, so any of you guys could do it. But we didn't have a rolling pin, so we had to improvise with a little can of Flex Seal. This stuff can do it all. Fix leaks, make fishing lures, and even roll out dough. Once the dough's rolled out, you cut it up, throw it in some chicken broth with some other ingredients, like our squirrel meat, for example. Then you add some seasonings and let it cook for a little while. Now that's all finished up, I'm just going to put it in a bowl, let it cool off for a minute, and taste it. All right, we're going to go ahead and get a little taste test. Homemade dumplings, squirrel. Oh, yeah. Now, I know it seems cliche, but genuinely it does just taste like chicken. It tastes like dark meat from chicken. But it's a great meal.
Drop a comment of your favorite squirrel recipe, and if you like these hunting videos, drop a like on the video and subscribe for more of these in the future. As always, Jesus loves you, I love you, and have a great day.